Welcome to Fins TV Plus on X. I'm your host, Fin Sammy, aka at Fin Sammy and X, and as always, my co-host, Eddie, chap with the controversial Eddie chap. Eddie, welcome back to Fins TV Plus on FTSN.
Great to be here, Sammy. Good to see you.
Well, the Dolphins have been streaking, Eddie. Who would have thought the Dolphins now 4-0 the last 4 weeks? The Tua has been, I don't know, what can I tell you? He's not been a factor as has been all the years, but
That's
not
why
such a negative. Not such a negative factor, not a great factor, but not a negative factor. So we're gonna start right on that. I want to know your thought first of all about the game was against the Jets, Eddie.
first off, I think you said they were going to be winning 4 games in a row. I think you said don't be surprised if they did.
Yeah.
It started off with probably the ugliest of all uniforms these teams have thrown out. I cannot believe the Jets picked that for their uniforms, but they are the Jets, so whatever. As for the game, it seems like the offensive line's really coming together. They're putting together. Didn't matter who was at running back. It looks like they should have been using Jalen Wright the whole year. Everything I've said to people about Ollie Gordon is why he's not used more is because he makes mistakes, and he did a couple in there. He missed a blitz pickup one time, and he's been hitting the holes a little wrong. So it's good to see Jalen Wright do really well. But the run defense and the defense gave up some yardage, not much, but it's good to see him taking the ball away. That's all you really need to do in the NFL. You can let a team go up and down the field, but if you turn them over, hold them to 3 points, you're going to win a lot of games.
Absolutely, and we talked so many times during the season about if the Dolphins are not able to stop the run, then we're not gonna win. So the Dolphins have been playing a lot much better defense. Passing defense has been very good. Surprising, so many corners have gone down during the season, and yet the Dolphins pass defense, is I think
Yes.
it's over top of the league. So that's kind of surprising. And the rookies, the true rookies, are playing great. Grant is probably the one who's less impressive of the three. Coming from him being the first rounder is kind of disappointing, but Sig Biggers and Phillips have been playing very good, stopping the run. So the defensive line is playing very good, and they motivated. They play some really really good defensive football, which we really need. On Fins TV on Tuesday, Eddie, we talked so much about if the Dolphins are going to be different, they need to do something different. We said that before on Fins TV. They need to find a way to run the ball in December, which they've not been able to do. They had to wait to stop the run in December, so usually don't do it. They have to wait to the quarterback. So far, during the first game of basically December, they did that. So now the Dolphins, we're going to talk later about the Steelers game, but how confident you feel looking at the Dolphins right now that the Dolphins basically have found the right formula to be different compared to other years? Not as successful, as talents-wise successful, as a team loaded with talent, top-heavy talent, but, lesser talent, but probably more adequate to play in December and January.
I think they found a formula. I think it's something they need to stick to. The Jets knew they were going to run the football, and they still couldn't stop Miami from running the football. It's not like that was a terrible defense they were going against, especially against the run. That's what they need to do. Run the ball and stop the run. And you're right, the rookies, all of them, which you can't say has happened every year. They've actually shown a lot of growth during the season. It's good they stuck with the guys. It's good they're getting them in there. They've all improved, especially the defensive linemen. And the one I was really worried about was the offensive lineman. I cannot say his last name. Can you help me out there? Jonah, we will call him.
Savanaya.
Yeah. He has really grown. He's still making some mistakes, but he switched positions. He was a right guard in college. He's a left guard now. He's next to a guy that's only in his second year, who's playing amazing, by the way, Patrick Ball. But Jonah's really shown up the past couple games. He's going to make his mistakes, but all rookies do, and it's just good to see growth for once, and not just guys playing at an even or dropping off, unlike the quarterback.
The phase the Dolphins had on playing rookies, your players had really paid off because they made so many mistakes during the first half of the season. But so far, it's not like they're turning the league up by any means. But
No,
the young guys are really playing it. They're playing steady. They play better than any better than the probably the Dolphins would have if they went onto the market. So the patience paid off. So that's a good move on them. The Dolphins since firing Chris Greer has been 4-0. I want to make you. I want to ask you that question. How much do you think it has to do with anything, or it's just basically a coincidence that the team gel at the right time? The schedule is kind of kind of better this part of the year, uh, or basically firing Chris Greer did something for the franchise, did something for the team. What are your thoughts?
Well, maybe it stopped Miami from trading somebody they shouldn't have by firing him. Didn't they fire him before the trade deadline, if I'm right? Um, uh,
Adrian Rainey.
yeah,
Hiring.
I think they did fire him before the trade deadline. If that's the case, he might have made a terrible trade. Who knows? The Jalen Phillips trade, what it did was, he's made a couple sacks for Philadelphia. Good for him. He missed a couple here, but it's let people see that the reason Chop Robinson was having a bad year is because he wasn't playing. He's finally getting his time, and now that he's getting his time, he's playing well again. And the rookies playing better next to Zach Sealer, shows you it takes more than one guy to disrupt a team. Sealer's back to normal. After these guys started playing better, so did he.
We have our special guest, though, who's a great, defender of the one Asian, truly believer. She's been on top of that since the beginning, so she must be happy that the season is having. When Asian went down during that game, I was like, oh boy. I think the gas of Finn Station
I was already writing the NFL about that field and how many people it's hurt. I was like, you've got to do something about this field. It hurts everybody.
Yeah. Now it happened, Jalen Phillips the other time, everything.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers only 3 plays, so it is what it is. But Asian, I'm going to talk more with Dol when we have her on the show. Asian has been he's without a doubt. We're gonna have the Fins TV Awards at the end of the season, but I don't know how he will not be the unanimous when you select the committee. You're gonna be part of the committee for sure. When you select the committee and we had the votes, it's gonna be hard for Don Asian not to be the unanimous Dolphins MVP because even with Wright playing very well, and happy for him because he stuck too much before the season about the training and getting up for a good season. So I'm really happy for him to have this moment. Hopefully it can continue. But when the Asian for sure went down, it was like,
oh yeah,
because he's such a factor on the passing game and the running game. He changes the whole game. So what are your thoughts when that happened? What he was thinking, Eddie? I want to know.
You could say I said it was good to see Jalen Wright do well, but yes. I also said, or in my mind, I was thinking there's a couple runs Etienne probably would have went for a touchdown on. I mean, Wright's fast. Don't get me wrong. He's probably just a tick slower than Etienne, but Etienne has unbelievable vision and balance. Look at that run he made. I don't know if I've seen a run like that since Ricky Williams. The one, you know what I'm talking about. He didn't score the touchdown.
He went back.
Yeah, and then he was tackled again and he got out of it. And then, of course, they had to stop him at the 1. That was terrible. He deserved a touchdown there. But like I said, he has vision.
I was so mad.
I know. So he has unbelievable vision. He has way more power than people give him credit for. He just doesn't go down when somebody touches him. He's not like Gesicki. If you remember that, if somebody touched he'd catch a pack, somebody touch his shoestring, and he was over.
He sunk like a stone, throw his stone into the wall. You touch him, I mean, you're probably going to get blocked now by Mike Gesicki because that's a way to block everyone talks back about him. But yes, he's so agile, he's so fast, but sometimes, how many times he kind of bounces back? It's kind of weird, right? Yeah. He goes into the offensive line, he kind of bounces back, and he finds a way to get net yardage, which is huge.
Yes,
I don't want to call Joe Philby the fail forward fast, but you have to fail forward fast, right? You have to always go straight forward. So our special guest is here, so let's welcome our special guest. Dol, welcome to Fins TV Plus on FTSN.
Thanks. That was a fun little intro.
Yeah. All the others for FTSN. Now you're part of the Fins TV family. Courtney, Dol, you've been a long advocate for Devon Nation. You're a huge fan of Asian. You defend him, but I want to lead that to the last part of the show. Uh, during that game, the Dolphins on a 4 game winning streak. Who would have thought, right? When fire McDaniel, fire everyone, burn it down, and but the Dolphins have found a way to win some games. So this is probably going to be the toughest tax because every single year when it comes to December and January, the Dolphins kind of fail with the cold weather here. The injuries sometimes always are the late part of the season. The weather, the Dolphins cannot run the ball, and we talked on Fins TV on Tuesday about if can this team be different? Can this team find the formula, right? Find ways to stopping the run and running the ball when it matters in December and January. What are your thoughts after looking at that 4 game winning streak with the Dolphins? What are your thoughts? Is this team kind of different compared to maybe not top heavy on the talent, but different? We might then find the formula to be able to run the ball with the 6 offensive linemen.
I mean, I think the difference this year is that we've been running the ball. We haven't been abandoning the run. McDaniel hasn't been shying away from it. We've actually been relying on the run as opposed to Tua and his arm. And I think that when you get into the cold weather games, that's the formula, is you need to run the ball. You need to be able to establish that and take the pressure off Tua and the receivers and, those that don't perform well, the ball slips out, you get tipped, you can't feel your hands, like you got to pound it. And with the year that Achane is having, I don't see how you don't at least look at this team and say, well, same players just about minus Hill, same offensive unit basically, but we're utilizing them differently this year. And it should set us up for success because without Achane and without our run game, really, you saw what happened. Even we played the Jets last week. When Achane went down, we had 2 quarters where we basically didn't score after he left the game. If you look, we didn't score for the rest of the second and we didn't score in the third. It took to the fourth till we found a new rhythm, till we kind of got it going. You can't afford to do that. Like you can't afford those lulls when you're playing a high caliber team. That was against the Jets. So we really need to focus on the run game.
Absolutely. Eddie, I agree 100%. The difference here is the run game. The Dolphins, for the last, I don't know, since I can remember, the days of Dan Marino, when it comes to December and January, they just cannot run the ball. But the 6 offensive linemen has worked pretty well for Mike McDaniel. What are your thoughts? Because that would be the difference. Not only that we had 3 capable running backs, maybe ever, or the Cincinnati 72 Dolphins, but the offensive line with the offensive lineman has been a huge difference. What are your thoughts?
Other that the tight ends getting hurt actually might have been a blessing in disguise because he had never used the 6th offensive lineman. It was like the first time, maybe once in a while in the goal line last year or a year before, but he came up with something. It's working. He's sticking with it. Thank God. And Hill going down, I hated to see Hill get hurt, but it might have helped his coaching ability with sticking with the run. You don't have to throw it every play in the NFL to win. We didn't score for 2 quarters. It's a great point because of Achane, I think, but we also didn't turn the ball over to let them back in the game, minus the punt return or kick return, whatever. It was a punt return for the touchdown, and then the special teams gaff again. But at least they just stuck with the run, and they didn't have Tua throw an interception, although he tried. He tried to throw it backwards. I still think it was backwards, but whatever.
Yes, I think so too. Yes.
But they stuck with the run, and they held the Jets in check. They didn't let him on the field more. So he's definitely grown this year as a play caller.
Absolutely. When he went to Miami, he was known as a run game coordinator, not even an offensive coordinator. We talked so many times about Mike McDaniel's experience was basically as a run game coordinator. So he burned the league. Was magnificent. Teams could not catch up with the Dolphins, passing game with Tariq and everything. But after a while, the offense rose stable. So right now, the Dolphins might have a bigger problem at quarterback because Tua I think the regression is probably not only mental. I don't think it's mental. Basically, it's physical. He's not the player that he once was. Even physical. He cannot escape the pass rush. The arm doesn't look as well, and he lost the last two games of last season with a phantom hip injury. So there may be something there that we don't know, but you can see him regressing physically. What are your thoughts right now on Tua? Because during that game when you throw that pass, in that fade in the answer that was a lateral. If you ask me, we got lucky in that. And then basically he almost had the quickest pick six in the history of the NFL when he threw it basically and the Jets linebacker dropped the ball. What are your thoughts right now on Tua? And the regression, do you think it's mentally, physically, or maybe both?
Me?
Is that for me or?
Yes. No, I'm going to go for Tua. It is
I'm sorry. There's definitely something not right. I don't care if a play is called. You don't have to throw the ball where the play is called. Too. There's different reads. If are you going to tell me he couldn't see over the line that the running back wasn't looking at him? I mean, you got to see that. There wasn't like it was a ton of pressure on him to throw the ball, and I swear it went back. I'm like, that's going to be a touchdown. Although I think the guy stepped out of bounds first and he didn't reestablish himself. And then he comes back and throws to the Jet linebacker. How that guy dropped it, I guess we know why he's a linebacker and not a tight end or wide receiver. But yeah, it's regressed. He cannot move. He cannot go on a run and move and throw the football like a basic quarterback can. I mean, I was serious when Tyler Shuck outplayed him against the Saints. I wasn't kidding around. The rookie from the Saints, who I've never heard of, outplayed Tua in that game. And I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I think they're stuck with him another year unless he decides to hang it up, but I doubt he will.
Yeah, when you get that kind of money, I doubt he will. Dol, your thoughts. Adrian is in the chat and he uses always, the term permacussed.
Oh, he is.
I think it's all. I think that it's mental, physical. I think that Tua has a low football IQ. And I've said this for a little bit now. And not saying that he's a stupid guy. I just don't think, if you've ever listened to Peyton Manning or Eli Manning talk about the game of football, they have such an acute awareness. They can call out what's going to happen before it happens. They can dissect a defense in a split second. Like they get it. And they can articulate well that they get it. I don't think Tua can. We've seen that he doesn't pick up on blitzes. He doesn't get the schemes. He falls right into the trap because he doesn't recognize it. He can't call another play because he doesn't understand, okay, this is what the defense is showing. I need an audible here. He does exactly what he's told to do. And if that is not there, that's when he panics. That's when he throws the interceptions over the middle. That's when he holds on to the ball for too long. He takes the sack. He doesn't throw it away. Like it's almost like he just doesn't know. And I think that the offense was tailored to him and dummied down to him in such a way that it kind of disguised it. Because when you have Tyreek putting up the numbers and you have your receivers getting so many yards after the catch, it makes it look, a couple of deep balls. But when everything is lining up, he's great. But when he needs to really be in that quarterback role, he needs to think quick on his feet. He needs to make a decision. He needs to understand this. Like he doesn't have it. And I think this year, maybe it's the concussions, maybe it's the fear of getting hit again, the pressure of everything. I think it all just came to a head. And I think we're stuck with him for another year, but he's definitely not the answer. I've already said that I would bench him next year. I would go find some rookies and make him sit on the bench as like a veteran presence and just take your beating for a year. See if you can develop somebody, see what you have and kind of figure it out, because he's not it. And he's not going to lead any team because of that lack of football IQ.
Absolutely. Anyway, your thoughts? I think she's right on the money because, it's a problem with the money. We talked so many times about it, but, it's hard for me to think that, Tua is going to be physically better next year because it's not like he's dealing with a he's dealing with an injury, and we had to say, it had not been disclosed. It's not in the injury report. We're going to look at the injury report any week. So the problem is not like he has a recurring injury that might get better with time. The generation might be something else. So I don't know. Physically, mentally, I don't know. What are your thoughts? Because I think Courtney's in the money. Well, those in the money about the fact that the Dolphins have to somehow start to be looking for answer. The problem is that you get stuck with the wrong answer. The problem is only gets bigger. What are your thoughts?
I could not agree with somebody more than what Courtney just said about the football IQ. He throws to where he's told to throw. He does not read the defense. You can see it. It is. It's a low football IQ. Great term there. I'm glad you came up with that, because now instead of calling him a moron like I did on X the other day, I was saying he's got a low football IQ. I felt that after. But just because you're stuck with him next year, you're not absolutely stuck with him. I mean, Denver got rid of Russell Wilson, but you're absolutely right. He should not be the starting quarterback. I don't care if you get a rookie. I don't care if you get a guy to come in here like Mac Jones for 1 year and play the offense. You cannot go next year a whole year with him playing quarterback. You just can't. You have to do something. I don't know what it is or how they'll do it. That's for them to figure out, but he cannot be starter day one next year. And it's ever since I noticed the guy that used to train him all the time had something to say on X about it. Did you see that or not?
I have that guy blocked.
Oh, do you?
Okay. Oh, he hates women. He hates women. He said a lot of.
I did not know.
Yeah,
I even forgot his name.
Well, he stopped training with him, and he has regressed since he stopped. But I did not know that. Thank you. I will now block him.
No, I mean, you can do it. He likes dudes.
No, I'm good.
Right. Animals right to the plate. Straight. Oh man, I love that. But basically the fact is that if you're not seeing the dynamic of Eddie and I, and you have not seen the dynamic of us on X, and basically in private chat, he will come up with something like that. He's the moron. You have to go stop. Thank you, Courtney. Thank you, Dolph, for giving me something. Do you write that down, Eddie? That I need you to, instead of calling him a moron, low player IQ.
She needs to teach me more to be more expressive in positive ways and still be negative without the way I come across as.
Well, see how I said it. I was like, I'm not saying he's stupid. He just has a low football IQ.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That was awesome. I'm the stupid one, obviously.
Don't turn it too much down, because then you will not be the controversial Eddie Chappell. That's why I love you. But sometimes you have to tone it down a little bit. It's disappointing. The fact is that we all knew to us physical abilities were not great. I've always been an advocate for two. It's been disappointing for me right now because of the fact that everybody said he sucks and whatever. Eddie's and I so many times discuss about the fact that the ceiling, we don't know what the ceiling was, and as long as he was kind of going up, it was okay. But last year he peaked, and now he's going downward. So that's the problem with Tua, because when people say he sucks and whatever, he actually didn't suck. Just he wasn't good enough for what we expected of him. And now he's really sucking. It's really bad, and that's a problem with all, because the fact that when you pay that guy the amount of money they're paying, show me the money, all that stuff, and now you're stuck. Now the problem is bigger. So it's gonna haunt the franchise for a couple of years to come. But my premise also is that I agree with you that we had to find someone younger, to see what we have in there. Queen Edwards, I might not be it, but maybe in next year's draft. I'm afraid that we get stuck with the player that is wrong again, then the franchise goes backwards. So they had to look long and hard to see who's going to be the tour replacement with this young player. I wanted Mac Jones this year as a free agent instead of Zach Wilson. I don't know what they were thinking. I wanted Mac Jones. Probably he didn't want to come to Miami. He would have taken the 49ers job. I can understand that, because basically the 49ers are more established, but nonetheless, that's not the point. But what are your thoughts on my premise? If I agree with you that we should look further, but if we're stuck with someone who's not the right guy, then the regression is going to be worse. So the Dolphins had to look for a balance, right? They had to do the proper thing. They had to be looking for quarterbacks right now, but that's not an easy task, right? Courtney, no?
Listen, if the Colts can sign Philip Rivers, is there really
It's
is there a
it's not
limit to us?
congratulations.
I'm just saying. I think I would rather not take the cap hit on his salary and just bench him for a year, and let him train up somebody. Hey, John. But there's plenty of people to be gotten. We could go and get somebody in the draft. It doesn't have to be hey, Britt. It doesn't have to be a first round anybody. Get somebody in the draft. It's not a super rich quarterback class, in my opinion, but there's guys there. There's somebody that you could develop. Not every great quarterback is going to be found in the first round. You can go get some guys on free agency. But the thing is, Miami needs to start dating these quarterbacks. Basically, they need to say, I'm available, and start bringing some guys in. Do the research. Doesn't mean you have to commit to them, but it's time to start finding your options again. Get divorced from Tua, get out there, and let's find some options, because there's plenty of guys. Guys want Cam Newton? Colin Kaepernick says he's ready to go after the.
He's always ready. He's always ready.
There's options, and they need to utilize free agency, and they need to utilize the draft. We need to, not in the first round, but in the later rounds, I think we need to try to get another quarterback. I mean, have we really given Quinn Ewers a fair shot? I'm not saying I love the guy, but what development have we really given him? No. But things like that, just keep getting guys. Look at Patriots did it, and they got Drake May. Mm-hmm. You'll hit eventually, but it's not like the bar's too high with Tua.
Well, not right now for sure. Eddie, the problem is that, again, getting a quarterback, like she said, you had to try. You had to start. Dolphins has to start dating. The problem is that what you have in Queen Ewers is not going to be easy, because if they were losing, you probably can bench Tua. And the problem is that Tua gets all the reps in practice, so Ewers is not getting basically any reps as a rookie. None. So not getting any reps is not going to get better. So the Dolphins have to basically be out sucking or out of the playoff picture, basically to have a chance to say to go to the bench. We had to scrap at everything. So that's the problem. What are your thoughts?
Well, the Dolphins have had this problem for a long time. Even when Tannehill was there, they are always scared of quarterback competition for the starter. I don't know why that is. Do not be scared to draft somebody if somebody is there. Even if you have a good quarterback, teams do it. Aaron Rodgers was drafted when they had Brett Favre. If the quarterback you think is good, and even if you have a good quarterback, draft him, because you could. If not, you could trade him. Look what they did, Kirk Cousins with Robert Griffin or RG3. They doubled down on quarterback. You have to start picking these guys up. I mean, you say you can't set your franchise back, but at least the next guy, if you did pick one, would be on a rookie contract. If he's not it, you move on from him. I'm with you. Don't take the cap hit. Just sit him on the bench. Let him sit there. Find somebody serviceable. If your running game is going well and you have a quarterback that doesn't turn the ball over and can at least move and run for a first down once in a while and not get hurt running, and can move and throw the football, that's all you need right now with their offensive setup. Their line is getting better. Obviously, that line is a lot better than people thought. They've grown into each other. I mean, they're playing as a good unit now, which is important. They've kept the same guys in there. Austin Jackson being back, as much as people complain about him getting hurt, when he's in there, they run the ball even better. The numbers go way up with Austin Jackson in there. Even though everybody asked why they signed Borom, he actually turned out to be a serviceable guy. Yes. So
he got better, at least for sure.
He did. So Greer did pretty good. Oh, shut up, Eddie. Greer did pretty good on the line. Did everything on the line. I know. Did pretty good with some of these guys he picked up on the line, but I don't know. They are stuck, but you're right. They need to start dating. Actually, they just need to cheat and go full forward on it and get somebody new. I don't care how they break up with them. Just say it's you. It's not you, it's me, and move on.
Absolutely. Before we go talk about our games against the Steelers, though you've been a long advocate of the nation, Eddie and I have told me so many times. Not everybody is. A lot of, I'll be honest. There's some fans who thought he was, tradable that would have been catastrophic if you ask me. I think that's ridiculous. But I know that running backs by basically the value right now. But Devon Achane is, when the Fins TV awards come near time by the Super Bowl week, if you ask me, he should be the unanimous MVP because he's been as a receiver, as a running back, he's been awesome. If not for him, the Dolphins probably would have lost 4 of the games they have won. So I want to also just on Achane and what do you see from him? If the Dolphins should resign him next year during the offseason, and how valuable has he really been because you always defended him, so you'll be right on the money. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, should be the MVP of the league if you're going to ask me. You can't say that he's not the most valuable player to at least this team. I've kept the receipts and I've let people know that I've kept the receipts because if you during that trade deadline were like, get rid of Achane, we can find somebody new, and now you're like, he's the best ever. Oh, I'm clocking you. I have kept the receipts because
save the receipts.
Yeah, like now that we're winning, suddenly everyone sees his value. But he was really the only reason we've stayed in any games this year. Yeah, he needs to be re-signed. You need to be in talks with him before the season ends because his value is only going to go up and he's going to want money. He changed his Instagram to Himothy. Like he knows that his value is high. He's getting recognition on national media. Like teams are going to want him if you don't re-sign him, and I will burn your headquarters down if you don't re-sign him. I mean, he already has over 1,000 rushing yards on the season. He's paced to have probably his best season with us. I don't know what more he can say because it's not just his run game, it's his evasiveness, not just his speed. He doesn't give up. I mean, how many times have we seen think he's tackled? He's still going. He's pushing. He's, fighting for that extra yard, those extra few feet. I mean, he's honestly the hardest player on this team. And you saw what happened to our offense when he was injured for, the rib injury. I almost had a heart attack.
Yeah.
I comment all the time that he's an MVP, but he needs to be paid. If he is probably, in my opinion, the biggest priority on the team this offseason is making sure that you re-sign him. Because if you lose Devon Achane, if you don't sign him, your offense, I don't care if you don't have Tua anymore. Our offense will not move the same way without him. And you cannot have anything the only reason you don't re-sign him is if you plan to tank your year. Because he is a talent that you can't always find. You can't always find a running back like him. He's the best thing we've had since Ricky and Ronnie. So your highest priority this offseason should be re-signing Devon Achane and then obviously going out and flirting with quarterbacks. But we need him, especially with this line that we now maybe have some young guys on there. It seems like it's working. Time could only get better, hopefully. But yes, I am fully on the. And if anybody insults him, I'm in your comment section. I will fight with you. And I won't even make rational fights with you anymore. I'll just tell you that you're stupid. Like I don't even have to back it up. I'll just tell you you're stupid.
Yeah, you should call it a low IQ fan, a low IQ fan. So that would be nice.
I'll be like, you don't have a low football IQ. You just have a low regular IQ.
Adrian is in the chat. He says, "They better say Asian or those riots."
Period. Sometimes I just wonder if Devon Achane knows that I wonder if he's like, yo, that chick rides for me hard on X. Like, I don't gotta defend myself because she's in everyone's comments.
We gotta start a campaign for that. Bring some notoriety. That would be good. Eddie, Achane again. He lost the MVP on Fins TV Awards last year for one, but by one vote as highest hitter. But I think he's gonna be the undisputed MVP this season because if not for him, the Dolphins would have maybe lost 4 of those games. He's been so huge in the passing game and the running game, and he bounces back from a loss and fails forward fast because, like Joe Freeman used to say, and he finds a way to gain some yards. What are your thoughts of the value of Etienne right now as the Dolphins? Probably the Dolphins MVP of the season with 4 games to go.
It's not even close. There's nobody even near him to be. If you lose him, you're done. I mean, there's nobody else on there that you can say that about. They cannot let him go through next year and not be signed, because if they do, it's going to turn into a Robert Hunt situation where they messed up on that and didn't re-sign him, or Christian Wilkins and didn't re-sign him before they hit the market. That's when you do it. I don't care what the one idiot writer is saying, that they always mess up and re-sign guys early. That's wrong. There's certain guys that have something that other guys don't have, and he has it. There's only a few backs that are as good as him right now. You're talking Gibbs in Detroit is special. Bijan Robinson is special. Cook in Buffalo is good. And there's Etienne. He's in the top 4 in the NFL of running backs. And there's no, everybody thinks it's easy to go get a running back. It is sometimes, but not like him. He's different. He can catch the ball as good as any wide receiver on that team. He can run routes. He's good in motion. He's great up the middle even. Like I said, everybody thinks he can't run up the middle. He can. I don't care how small they think he is. He's not. He runs bigger than he is.
Right? Yes.
I mean, there's guys that are 230 pounds that can't get a yard in the NFL at running back because they don't have the vision and the smarts, the football IQ to run. Thank you. To find the right hole and to move off of that hole when it's called. I mean, you saw it with Ollie Gordon on that 4th and 1. All he had to do was turn it up, and he went sideways. I'm not going to give him too much crap because he's a rookie. It's a hard position. But there's no way Etienne would have done that. He would have slid probably back and went right into the line, and they would have had a first down. So, yeah, he is the Dolphins' offense. That's all there is to it. And to tell you the truth, I mean, between him and Waddle, that's pretty much all you really got right now on offense. If they don't re-sign my boy too, I am going to riot. Dolce, I love that guy. I love the hair flowing out of the helmet. He's a good tight end. I think they got lucky when they found him and they started using him. But he's somebody else I look forward to sign. But yes, Etienne all the way. Re-sign him. And they start talking now, even though they don't talk during the season. But as soon as the end of the season try to get him under contract for the next few years.
I think by NFL rules, he has to finish the year before they start talking to him. But as soon as they can, they have to find a way because if not,
they should be in the parking lot with the papers. Like the lawyers should be in the parking lot after the final game. As soon as it ends, they should be like, "Yo, we're talking now. Like we're not leaving the stadium. Season's over. Let's go."
There used to be times that before when I remember Bill Parcells, what's the offensive lineman that Bill Parcells went to his house. He was at 12 p.m. when those times the free agency started at 12 p.m. He was right outside the house. And when 12:01, he went there and found a way to sign. That's what you need to do. That's what you do.
I'll go.
For sure.
I will lock them in a room and be like, no one's getting out until this man is signed.
That should be interesting. We had to tweet that to oblivion. That you do the post, we'll share everywhere. So for sure. Let's talk a little bit about the Steelers before we end up. Well, the Dolphins go to Pittsburgh, and the story's always been that I don't have a good feelings playing at night, and playing the Steelers is always kind of kind of weird. I was reading Google before the Steelers has won 23 straight Monday night games. I don't know if that's correct or not, but that's what I read. So that's going to be interesting. Let's go through the injury report, if I may. For the Dolphins, Elijah Campbell and Caleb Johnson, Devon Achane, limited. That's kind of scary. Russell Douglas, Imafanu, Mayer, Waller, all limited. White lining, Steve Harris, favorite guy, Ivan Bonner, full. Aaron Brewer and Savanea, all full. For the Steelers, the shocker today was that TJ Watt went to the hospital today with something with the lung. That's kind of scary, right? Because those things with the lungs, that could be life-threatening. So our best for him, but he doesn't play, it's even better. So hopefully he's okay, but I don't want him to play on Monday. He take some rest. Take some rest for the week. Let's go to how they compare. On offense, they're not too different. On offense is basically 25th for the Dolphins, 27th for the Steelers. The passing offense, even with Aaron Rodgers, that diva quarterback, 23rd, 28th for the Dolphins. The rushing offense, 8th for the Dolphins, 29th for the Steelers. And the defense, 19th for the Dolphins, 28th for the Steelers, and passing defense 12, 28, 25 to 21. So, basically, I don't know, it looks like a kind of winnable game if you go by this, because I would expect a lot better positioning for a Mike Tomlin's coach game. When you see that first, what are your thoughts? Because I know you live kind of in the tri-state area, you have a lot of family Steelers fans, so you basically are in the know with the recent history against the Steelers. I want your thoughts about the game against the Steelers.
Well, I will let you guys know that we have a cold front, and it is supposed to snow both in Philly and in Pittsburgh on Saturday and Sunday. So it will be, I think Pittsburgh Pittsburgh is colder than Philly, but they're pretty comfortable. You're looking at teen numbers, like 9, 11, like as your lows. So that your lows are going to be the night game. So when you see those highs, when it says it's going to be about 20, that is going to be your afternoon. It's going to be probably, with the wind, it's going to feel more like 11. It is going to be frigid. Not Kansas City frigid, but it's going to be cold. And since it's going to snow a few days before or a day before, that ground's going to be rock solid. So be aware of that. That is going to affect, Tom Brady's inflation of the balls. They are the balls. But also the hard ground means injuries are more prone. Slippage is more prone because they're not getting the traction into the ground. So be aware of that. TJ Watt, I hope he doesn't play. But honestly, TJ's been regressed. He's not having a good year. Because what people don't know is when there is a Dolphin game on, I have a Steelers game on at least 2 other TVs in my house. TVs. I have watched and heard of every single Steelers game this season. I haven't missed a Steelers game this season, and I have heard the chirpings. TJ's an aggressive. Darnell Washington, the running back, does not compare to Achane. Is he tough? He's like a little bit more of like the bully back. He's a bigger guy. Yes, but he's slow. He's more like, I would say he's more comparable to Ollie on our size, but he's not putting up nearly the same numbers as Achane. DK Metcalf is dropping balls left and right. They wish they still had George Pickens. And, Aaron Rodgers has a fracture on his left hand, not his throwing hand, but he still has a fractured hand. He's been playing a little bit more delicately because he doesn't want to re-injure
to fall into it, yes.
Last week against the Ravens, Mason Rudolph went in when Aaron got sacked. So Mason Rudolph isn't great either. So we have the opportunity. I think if our defense plays to the caliber it's been playing at, their offense is their weak link. Their offense really has not been clicking. Their run game is atrocious. Their receivers are dropping balls left and right. And then it's a shame that we have Tua because their secondary is absolute dog shit. Jalen Ramsey looks washed as hell, more washed than when he was on the Dolphins. Patrick Queen is probably their best player back there. Joey Porter Jr. is like decent. They come and plays, but they can get burned easy. Waddle will run right past them. The biggest thing you're going to have to, if their D line is going to be their strongest unit, Cam Hayward is somebody you have to look out for. He's a stud. I like Cam Hayward.
Yeah. They're either player, guys. Yes.
But if you don't, and their linebacker Benton B something, it starts with B. Hold on, what is his name? He leads their team in sacks. It's not even Hayward or it's oh my god, Benton, their D tackle. He has 4 sacks on the season, so he's somebody that you have to look out for. But they fail to get pressure a lot. If you see a really good offensive line, you see, like, my brothers will scream, like, where's TJ? Where's TJ been this whole game? I mean, I hear that almost every game. So if our offensive line can set the edge and we can really, like, give to that little bit, we can block for Achane. I think Achane can slip right past them. It's just a matter of us playing to the tier we have been playing and the frigid cold. But the Steelers are not like this powerhouse that, like, they're about to lose the AFC North. And the Ravens are terrible this year too, but the Ravens are probably going to beat them out, even though if you guys watch that game, they only beat the Ravens because they took away that touchdown where he took 2 steps instead of 3. That should have been a touchdown.
It was almost 3 steps.
It should have been a touchdown.
Not sure it wasn't 3 steps. That was a terrible call.
That's how they won the game.
Though that's by far the best opposing scout report of the whole season. So
I know we've had other teams' fans on, and they didn't bring that much to the table.
We had a fan of the year of the culture. And this is the best part, right? Right?
I've grown up with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I could probably name you more Steelers players than Dolphins players, because before I really, I was a fan of the Dolphins, but before I actually paid attention to the games and actually followed football, my brother's turtles were named Cordell Stewart. I knew all about Cordell Stewart. The bus. I mean, I can tell you about Cower. I can tell you about why they hate Tomlin, why Tomlin's great, the lore, the Rooney lore. I know it all. So that's why I laughed, because I watch a Dolphins game. I don't miss a Dolphins game, but I'm also watching. People don't realize this. I'm watching a Steelers game. I have the kids coming in and screaming. I've literally had my son sit next to me. I'm watching the Dolphins on the TV. And 2 weeks ago, the Steelers were on my laptop. Like, my mom and my brother were here watching the Steelers game on the laptop. So I had them both so yes, I do. And my brothers have a group chat they added me to. So I have all the insider knowledge. If anybody needs any Steelers knowledge, let me know.
Absolutely.
But I'm glad to be of assistance. I don't know if it's really going to work, but
that was awesome.
I haven't studied. That's off the top of my head. If you give me a couple of hours to actually study things, I could probably give you more definitive answers. I'm just going off of everything that I've seen this year.
Eddie, I don't know how you're going to be able to top that, but try your best. What are your thoughts against the Steelers?
I don't need to. Just go into the next segment. I'm good.
We're basically out of here.
But she's right. Metcalf's had a terrible year. You know how I know? He's on my fantasy team. That's how I know he sucks. But guess what? He's going to go against the Dolphins, and everybody seems to turn their seasons around against Miami. But now, all kidding aside, I think they said the high is 19 and the low is 17 at that game. It's a weird thing. It's not going to be the
low's 9.
Oh, okay. Just what I got from 19 and 17 is what I got on Monday. It doesn't matter. 9, 17, 7. It's all the same after a certain point. I don't know. You got to worry a little bit about the Pittsburgh defense. I know Watt. I think he got hurt not training, but in the equipment rooms, some kind of therapy they were doing, and he hurt his lung. It wasn't like during a practice or anything. I'll have to read more about that. Sammy, I think they said they're 14-1 since something on Monday Night Football.
I don't know.
Might be at home since 2000.
It's crazy.
Miami does not show up big on Monday Night Football or primetime games. It's usually when something bad happens. That's what I'm hoping that doesn't happen, at least this time. Pittsburgh, you got to worry about Highsmith. He's a good linebacker, getting pressure. Porter's okay. He seems to have had a down year compared to where he was before. You just have to run the ball against him, but you can throw it if Tua has a, Lord pray, good game for one time. You can pick them apart, especially over the middle. They cannot cover. If Waller, Dolchik, and Waddle can over the middle, you can move the ball down the field, and if the field is slippery, that'll only help a back like Achane. It won't help Warren, I think, is their big running back, if I'm right.
Yeah.
I do worry about their big tight end or their tight ends. I think it's Fairmouth, right? And Washington. Yeah, that's Miami always has trouble covering the tight ends, and them two are pretty good. Pretty good. I mean, it's a little different this year. I know Deshaun Elliott, I don't think he's playing. I'm glad. Miami should have never let him go at safety. That was a great signing, and then they just let him go. I think that was Fangio there. But other than that, it's a winnable game. I just watching the Steelers the last couple of weeks. They're no better than Miami. That's for sure. It's just if Miami plays like they did, can't play like they did against the Saints. Although the Saints, look what they did against the Bucks. Who would have thought that? I mean, I know they always play the Bucks in division well, but still, would you thought they would have played that well against Bucks? I didn't. They also played good against Buffalo, so the Saints are a little bit better than people give them credit for. If they show up the way they've been playing, especially Miami's defense, they can win the game, and that's a lot coming from me.
Absolutely. So, having said that, now I have to make the question. Courtney, do the Dolphins win the game on Monday?
I don't like to make predictions because I feel like it jinxes them. But I think that if they follow the recipe that we just said, if, it's a winnable game, I definitely don't think that this is like the powerhouse Steelers of the past. I think the Steelers are struggling this year. So if the Dolphins take advantage of that and don't have any turnovers, if Tua doesn't make stupid mistakes, if we really secure the ball, and if our defense can get a takeaway or two, it's a completely winnable game.
Absolutely. Eddie, I have a question. I think you know what he's talking about. Can we discuss that BS call from G's territory a couple of years back? I think that's a play that they basically reversed the call after the
Roethlisberger fumble where Miami clearly recovered the football. The guys got the ball up in the air in his hand, and they said they could not see anybody that recovered the football. Yeah.
Yeah, basically every single time the refs screw see if they can. What are your thoughts, Eddie? I agree with Courtney that she doesn't want to spoil it, but now you have to give me an answer. To the Dolphins Sunday. Yes, the Dolphins don't do that reverse thing you do. I need to know now if they win on Monday or not.
No, wheels come off. Miami loses.
You're doing the reverse thing. I know, Jack.
No, I think I'm going to say it for the first time in weeks. I think they can win. And I have a decent feeling they're going to win. It's going to be a weird scoring game, like 19-17 or something weird like that. But I think Miami can pull it out, and I actually think they will.
I think so too. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I would never feel confident of the Dolphins going to Pittsburgh on a Monday night, but somehow I don't know. I think the Dolphins might have it. Aaron Rodgers always very confident against the Dolphins, but I don't know. I think the Dolphins might have a chance on Monday. So hopefully they find a way to win.
If they can get some pressure on him, he's not the same as he used to be. You can see that. I mean, he did run like Dan Marino there for a touchdown. He looked just like Dan Marino when Dan would run for a touchdown.
That's your liberty.
Yeah. But if they get pressure on him, he's not the same Aaron Rodgers. The arm's nothing wrong with that, but the legs and mobility, it's definitely a problem.
Yeah, at his age, Achilles, that gets degenerating. So probably is not the player that once was. I want to ask our guest, he's seen such a knowledgeable the Steelers. I was being a fan of Mike Tomlin. If I had a choice of the Dolphins head coach after Mike McDaniel, will be Harbaugh or will be Mike Tomlin. I have no idea, and I know everybody gets tired when you don't win Super Bowl championships, but I have no idea why the turmoil right now with Tomlin in Pittsburgh. Why? What's your opinion? You're so into the know with Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Your family is Steelers fans. Why are they so down by Tomlin right now? What are your thoughts? What's your opinion?
So the Steeler fans are kind of split like Tua non fans. There's those who love Mike Tomlin, and then like there are divisions. My family has hated Mike Tomlin for years.
Okay.
If you really look at it, Mike Tomlin has not taken the Steelers to a Super Bowl. I'm pretty sure somebody can probably fact check me, with a team of his own building.
Correct.
So last time they went to a Super Bowl with Roethlisberger, Cowher built that team and Tomlin inherited that team. So that's a big thing of he hasn't found a new quarterback since Ben Roethlisberger. He has not been able to build a Super Bowl winning team. So Steeler fans, yes. Do they usually get to the wild card or the first round of the playoffs almost every year? Yeah, but it's weird as Dolphin fans because we don't get it. But it's almost like they have a Super Bowl drought too. They're like, we get close every year, but we're never that much. And people just think that Tomlin is kind of set in his ways. We really haven't had that, steel curtain defense since then. Like he really hasn't, like, what is he known for? Like you have, each coach has their legacy. And I guess a lot of Steeler fans feel like Tomlin doesn't really have like he's been good enough, but he hasn't taken them. They've been so close, but they're not ever there. Some of them are tired of his arrogant press conferences. They just kind of feel like, what does he do? Like same year. And in the past, I don't know, I'd say like 3 to 4 years, they've kind of been on a decline. They really haven't been this powerhouse. They're not the Pittsburgh of past. And I think they feel like slowly they've lost their, I guess dynasty status. They have the 6 Super Bowls, but now so does the Patriots. What has Tomlin done for us is kind of how they see it. That's how my dad felt. And he just kind of feels like Tomlin's an idiot. He's very predictable. He runs the same plays. He doesn't make these adjustments. That's just what, and that I have to say is just a fan opinion, but that's how they see it. And I guess as Dolphin fans, we can kind of relate with Chris Greer. We had a playoff drought. What did he do for us? We really haven't been anywhere since Marino. That's kind of how they feel now.
I kind of get it. It happened to Don Shula also. Don Shula, grows stale in Miami. I remember, so many years being a legend in Miami, and that's that year with Jimmy Johnson looming, the fans and the media in Miami basically want him out. So many people want him out. Sports Illustrated do that cover. So if you don't win, no matter how much people love you, even they think it's time to move on. So Mike Tomlin that might be in the hot seat. This might be the year if he doesn't do something because they went all into the players. Yes,
I think it could be a couple of years, but now don't get me wrong. He's going to be, and I said it today, he's a hot commodity if he ever hits that market.
Yes.
So many teams, just because he hasn't had a losing season, so many teams will want him, and Pittsburgh might learn that the grass isn't always greener. But like I said, it's just they haven't hit. He's struggled finding good coordinators. It seems like it might just be it's stale. That's how Steelers fans. It's stale, and they need some fresh.
That's basically when you're not able to develop a quarterback or you're not able to build a staff. That's on you. Because the talent has been there, and that like you say, they go stale. That's a problem too. You might have good seasons, a good steady record, and might be in his career as one of the winners head coaches of all time, but not winning the big one, not winning when they could. That's gonna be a stain on his career. So it's kind of disappointment. Eddie, what are your thoughts on Mike Tomlin before we go?
Well, he hadn't won a playoff game since 2017. That's what Pittsburgh people are going to tell you. He doesn't lose. He doesn't have losing seasons, but that's kind of the same as you already said. It was the same at the end of Don Shula's tenure. It was time for Shula to go. I think it's time for Tomlin to move on, not just for Pittsburgh, but for him. I think he needs to get out of there and go see if somewhere else is better for him. I don't think he's going to get fired. I think they like him way too much. I don't think he's going anywhere. But as for, Dolphin fans wanting him, the same, he's pretty much the same. He's a better coach maybe than McDaniel, sure. But he's doing the same thing. Every year he's what, 9-8, 10-7, 9-8, 10-7. That's all. Yeah, exactly. That's all he is. He's average coach, or the teams are average right now. And to hire Arthur Smith as your coordinator, that's probably one of the worst hires there's been. That guy is terrible.
Yeah, and building the coaching staff. He's been so too many offensive coordinators that go to Pittsburgh and it fails. So over 400 fans watching all platforms. We will pretty appreciate all. Courtney Doll, where they can find your social media? Do you have something cool with Doll's Diaries? It's coming back. It's still have the show this week. What do you have any hopes? You're always welcome to join us on Fins TV if you're not doing anything. And this year, hopefully, you will join us on the Fins TV Awards at the last show of the season of the week. So we got the Super Bowl. So you've been part of the committee voting, but we would love you to have you. Why you have Cookie on where you can find your social media?
You can find me everywhere at doll_fan72. I'm always talking smack. I go live. I always live tweet my reaction to the game that's going on. So if you ever want to see how I feel during a game, I'm constantly tweeting. Doll Diaries, I don't know when she'll be back. Life has gotten busy, especially with the holidays, but I need to be more consistent with that. Bobby, thank God, is an angel and lets me just, flit around. I'm always popping on people's shows. I love guest appearing. So if anybody, ever wants that, I'm there. I love talking sports. So you can find me floating around anywhere.
Yeah, you'll be up by this community, so for sure. Eddie, I'm going to ask you. Frankie is in the chat. Hi, Frankie. He asked a question. Let me ask you guys, name a head coach of Miami better than what Tommy has done in the last plus 20 years. That's what he said in last week. What are your thoughts? The last 20 years? I don't think so. Adam Gase, no. Phil Philbin, no. Cam Cameron, no. Mike Daniel, kind of a little at first, but no. What I think that guys
you compare them because they're two completely different franchises.
Exactly.
There's completely different structure. It's just completely different. They have, honestly, it comes down to also GMs. They've had completely different GMs. That Pittsburgh is actually run very well. We had Greer.
Yeah, for sure. So over 400 watching platforms. We really appreciate you. Thank you for watching on Finstock Network and Fins TV on X. Follow, subscribe to Finstock Network everywhere. Follow Fins TV. Appreciate we're gonna be back on Tuesday for Fins TV. Thank you, Courtney. Thank you, Doll. You've been great. Hopefully you join us back. Hopefully you can join us on Fins TV. Eddie, always great, my brother. Behave well. Be a good guy. As always says, no matter what, at least we have each other.
For now.
There you go. Fins up.
Thanks for watching Fins TV. Please like and subscribe.
Miami Dolphins #1.
See you next week. Fins up.